Hey, welcome back to the Tangle Quilt Along. I'm so excited to be here again. And we're on week 5, and this is our very last week. This Quilt Along has passed so quickly. So let's talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor this week is Arrow Sewing, and we are giving away our grand prize, a Shirley cabinet. This is about a $600 value, and it's going to change your organization game. This is a cabinet unit that has a thread drawer where you can put individual spools. There are other drawers as well where you can put fabric or put, just some notions or things like that. So one winner will win this prize. Details for how to enter are in your week 5 email, or there's links right below this video. All right, on with the demo. I'm going to show you exactly the way I put my quilt tops together, but know that this is not the only way. You can put these blocks together any way your heart desires. There is no wrong way and there is no one way. There's just whatever works best for you. All right, so I like to start at the bottom, and I want to sew this bottom row together, get it pressed, get it up here sitting on my table. Then I will do the next row, right? Sew that together, get it pressed, pin those rows together, and then sew them together, press them, and then keep going up the quilt top like that. I'm going to do a couple of rows with you, and then you should have a pretty good idea if you've never done this before. All right, so first, let's grab this bottom row. All right, and then super quick tip, when I'm taking them off the wall, I want to make sure that I don't twist, turn them, sit them down before I go to my sewing machine, any of that stuff. I just want to grab the row exactly as it came off the design wall and take them to my sewing machine. So let's go. Okay, here we are. When I came to the table, again, I made sure that my blocks were exactly the way they're supposed to be. I don't want to get distracted and then start twisting and turning them, because then they get out of order and it will mess up the whole quilt top, because everything is either vertical or horizontal, so they're all very specifically laid out. And if I accidentally shift this 90 degrees, then now I've created myself a problem, and nobody likes to seam rip, right? So try just to be mindful of how you're placing these and how you're coming at your sewing space with these blocks. I'm going to put these blocks, right over here. And then I'm just going to grab one of them and then grab the other. They're going together like this. And we're going to just flip this one over and line it up all nice and neat. And then we're going to sew with your 1/4 inch or your scant 1/4 inch, whichever you've been using. I'm using a scant 1/4 inch. Alright, and we're going to chain piece these rows just to make things go a little bit faster. So I leave that in there. I grab my next set of 2 blocks. Same thing. Put them all together, all nice and flush. And sew. And then I'm just going to keep going down the row. So next 2 set of blocks, and same thing. So I only have 1 block left for that row, so I'm going to stop right there, cut my thread, and then we're going to grab our little snips and we're going to cut the threads between each of our blocks here. And we want to be really, really careful that we put them back in the exact same place. So let me show you how I do that. All right, so I'm just going to snip the threads that connect them, open them up, and put them back. I want to make sure they go back right in the same place that they came out of. And then we'll sew the pairs together. So put this one on top of here, Get my block all lined up and flush, and sew. And then that last block, I'll put it with the next pair. And then same thing, cut the thread, and then cut the little thread that comes between them. Open the first 4 up, and then we'll sew this half to this half. And that is our first row. And what we want to do is we want to have one end in our hands and the beginning in our hands, and that's how we want to go to the pressing. All right, so when I come to my pressing station, you know, I come completely aware of the beginning of the row and the end of the row, and I know what is what. We don't want to get ourselves frustrated, and just being aware of these things can sometimes help so much with that. All right, so definitely use your favorite methods of pressing, but I'm just going to work through how I like to do it. So I always, when it comes to rows, I like to sew them this way. I find it easier. And in the pattern, we're told to press one row in one direction and the other row in the opposite direction. So we're alternating those seams. And just in case you're a new quilter, I'm talking about these seams right here, okay? So end of my row right here, and I'm aware of what it is. I'm going to press all the seams this way. So I'm going to push that seam that way, grab my iron, and press. So just like that. All right, and then I'm going to work down my row, pressing all of these seams, you know, in that direction. The whole row is going to be just like that. All right, so I'm going to grab my row, and then I like to bring it over here on the other side of my table and then just set it up right there. All right, so now we're gonna grab the next row. I am gonna go and sew these blocks together, and I'll meet you back at the pressing mat. All right, here we are again with our second row. And remember that I'm just shifting mine this way so that the last block in the row is what I press first. And grab my iron again, and this time we're pressing the seams toward us. So I'm just going to push this seam this way, make sure I got it right, and press. And having nice, neat seams that are pressed correctly is going to make it easier for us to get our points to line up, if that's something you care about. It is something I actually obsess over, so I like to be really, really nice and neat with my pressing. Just in case you're new to quilting, leaving a lip right here, not getting it pressed completely out, can make your row come out shorter, so you do want to watch out for that. All right, so I'm going to grab my row, and now I am putting it right above this one. All right, so now I'm just going to take this row and then just put it right on top of that previous row. We're going to grab our pins, and we're going to nest the seams where the blocks line up. So here is how you nest. And to nest, you just line them up best you can, and between your forefinger and your thumb, you can feel them kind of just shift into place. I mean, you really can just feel this. They lock right into place, and when they are locked into place, you just want to take one of your pins and slip it right into that stitch line to hold it there. Right, and it looks just like that. Then we'll go ahead and put a pin down here where the blocks meet. And then I'm going to put one more pin right here in the middle. Pin as much as you feel that you need to. And then remember where they all meet up, that is where we're going to be sure to put a pin right there. Get them in the right place. And this is what we're going to do all the way down the length of these 2 rows. So I'm just going to continue pinning, lining those seams up, and then right here at the end of the 2 rows, I'm going to pin those just like I did at the beginning. And then again, pin right in the middle of those blocks. All right, now accordion the whole row, or whatever you like to do. And we're going to take this to the sewing machine and we're going to sew right across the top. And yeah, I'm going to go get that done and then I'll meet you back at the pressing. All right, now I'm back. Got my block sewn together and I'm just going to put it right here on my pressing mat. And before I, open it up and sew, I want to set this seam. So I'm just going to take my iron and just go down the length of the row, giving it just a little quick press. Not, too time consuming. This will work out any of those tension issues, and it just makes the row seam easier to press. All right, now I'm just going to open this up just like this. And I will get it all pushed out. And then I'm making sure that this seam, is going this way. So just kind of take your time and get it right. Or if you don't care on my account. And then I'm just going to work myself down this row just this way. And then, as I get at the end of my pressing mat, I just pull it just like this and then keep going, making sure that that seam is going, away from me. And sometimes you have to get in there and, move the seam underneath if it's not behaving. So it just makes things line up better. So it's just best to get into the habit of being careful and pressing those seams just so. All right, that is 2 rows complete. So I'm going to grab the row, bring it back to this side of the table. And if you're doing this on the floor, if you're doing it, on a bed or wherever you're doing it is fine. Just as long as you have a place where you can keep things organized. All right, so now I'm going to grab my next row. I'm going to go sew this one together. When I get it sewn together, I will lay it right here on top of these 2 rows. Then I'll grab the next row, sew it together, sew that row to this row, and then both of these rows to these 2 rows. And that's how I'm going to work myself all the way up to the quilt top, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and finish the quilt top in my own time, and I'll see you when I have it done. Okay, I've got thread all over me, but I have a finished quilt top. So here goes. Here is my top. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with it. So very happy with it. Anyway, again, I hope you are happy with yours too. This is going to wrap up the Tangle Quilt Along. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to pop in your inbox in another week to announce that final giveaway and to just talk to you a little bit more about finishing Tangle up. Don't forget to enter that final giveaway though. You have until next Tuesday to do so. Thanks for participating. I'll see you next time.